Imagine this. You're walking peacefully, sipping your chai, enjoying a good day, and then someone comes, says something rude, and your whole mood crashes. Just one sentence, just one look, and suddenly you're burning inside. But pause for a second. What if I told you the most powerful response is not a reaction, but a redirection? Friends, in life, people will hurt you. That's not a maybe, it's a certainty. Some do it unintentionally, others, sadly, very intentionally. But how you respond will shape not just your relationships, but your character, your peace, and your future. We live in a world where everyone's racing to give a comeback. Someone shouts, we shout louder. Someone disrespects us, we plan revenge. But the truth is, when someone hurts you, don't react instantly. Just do this. Pause, breathe, and respond consciously. Let me share a little story. A monk once asked his teacher, "How do I know when I've truly grown in wisdom?" The teacher smiled and said, "When someone insults you and you don't feel the need to prove them wrong." Wow, that hit me. Because isn't that what maturity really is? It's not about how sharp your tongue is. It's about how still your heart remains when chaos surrounds you. Life will give you many opportunities to react. But the wise ones, they learn to respond. So next time someone hurts you, before you react, take a pause, breathe, observe, and choose your response. You're not just preserving your peace, you're building your power. Let them throw words, you throw wisdom. Let them bring chaos, you bring calm. Let them try to shake you, you stand still like a mountain. Because when you master your reaction, you master your life. In a world where everything moves fast, messages flying in, tweets flying out, we've gotten used to instant responses. Someone criticizes us, we reply in seconds. Someone hurts our feelings, we send that angry message back. It's like life has become a tennis match. You hit, I hit back harder. But in this rush to react, we often forget to reflect. Think about this. Have you ever sent a text in anger only to regret it 5 minutes later? Or shouted at someone during a fight and felt guilty for days? That's the cost of reacting. Reaction is immediate, it's emotional, it's raw, but more often than that, it's reckless. Reflecting, on the other hand, is where wisdom lies. There's a story of a man who was walking in the forest and got bit by a snake. He screamed in pain, but instead of seeking help or treatment, he chased after the snake in anger, determined to punish it. He ran deeper and deeper into the forest, losing his way, getting more injured, more exhausted, until he collapsed. Now the question is, did the snake cause his downfall? Or was it his reaction to the snake? That's how many of us live. Someone says something to us, a rude comment, a sarcastic jab, or just a look, and we chase after the pain with our reaction. We carry it with us all day, sometimes all week. We go home and tell everyone how hurt we are. We post about it. We replay it in our mind like a movie stuck on loop. But what if instead we just paused and reflected? Imagine someone honks at you aggressively while driving. Now, one option is to scream back, speed up, and let road rage take over. But what does that lead to? Stress, anxiety, maybe even a dangerous accident. But another option is to smile softly, take a deep breath, and think, maybe they're having a bad day, maybe they're rushing to a hospital, Maybe they just lost their job. You don't know their story, but you know yours. And your story is too precious to be ruined by a moment of someone else's instability. Reflection gives you space to see beyond the moment. It allows you to observe your emotions without becoming a prisoner of them. It's like the difference between a spark and a wildfire. The spark is the moment someone says something hurtful. But the wildfire, that's what you create when you pour your reaction onto it. Gaur Gopal Das often reminds us our emotions are like guests. They come and go. But if we react immediately, we become permanent hosts to temporary visitors. When we reflect, we let those emotions pass without giving them the keys to our peace. Let's take a real-life example. Suppose you're at work. You've worked hard on a project for weeks. You finally present it in a meeting, and instead of praise, your boss picks on small errors in front of everyone. Your face flushes, your ego burns, the urge to defend yourself kicks in. But in that moment, if you react, if you argue or walk out, you lose more than the argument. You lose trust, you lose your cool, and maybe even your credibility. But if you pause and reflect, something magical happens. You might realize your boss was under pressure, or that the feedback, though harsh, can help you improve. You might decide to have a calm conversation later, rather than create drama now. That's the power of reflection. It gives you control over the moment instead of being controlled by it. Children react, adults respond. The difference? Reflection. When someone hurts you, try this. Step away for a moment. Go for a walk. Write down what you're feeling. Talk to a friend you trust. Give yourself a few hours or even a day before responding. You'll be amazed how differently you see things once the emotional fog has cleared. Your dignity, your peace, your happiness, none of these should be sacrificed just because someone else lost control of their behavior. When you react, you mirror their behavior. But when you reflect, you rise above it. Every time you resist the urge to react, you're training your mind to operate from wisdom, not wounds. And this training, over time, makes you unshakable. So next time someone hurts you, don't reach for your phone, don't raise your voice, don't sharpen your tongue. Just take a breath, close your eyes, and reflect. Because true power lies not in how consciously you choose to. Don't raise your voice. Don't sharpen your tongue. Just take a breath, close your eyes, and reflect. Because true power lies not in how quickly you react to everything, but in how you first take a deep breath. There is a simple wisdom in something we all do every second of our life: breathe. Yet, in moments of stress, anger, or hurt, we forget to do just that. We forget to breathe before we speak. And because of that, we often say things we don't mean, act in ways we later regret, and damage relationships that matter to us. Think about this for a moment. How many times in life have you said something in the heat of the moment, only to wish you could take it back a few minutes later? Maybe you were tired, maybe someone pushed your buttons, or maybe you were just having a rough day. But the words came out sharp, impulsive, and raw. And just like that, they hurt someone you care about. That's the power of words, spoken without breathing, without thinking. Breathing before speaking is not just about inhaling air. It's about creating space between the trigger and the response. That one breath becomes the difference between reacting from emotion and responding with intention. There's a beautiful story often shared in spiritual circles. A man came to the Buddha, angry and frustrated. He insulted the Buddha with harsh words, trying to provoke a reaction. But the Buddha sat still, calm and silent. After some time, the man asked, "Why don't you respond?" The Buddha gently replied, "If someone offers you a gift and you do not accept it, to whom does the gift belong?" The man replied, "To the one who offered it." The Buddha smiled and said, "In the same way, I do not accept your anger. It remains with you." Now pause and reflect. How was the Buddha able to stay so calm? The answer lies in that silent gap, that pause, that breath, that moment of stillness gave him the clarity to not take on someone else's negativity. And we can do the same. Let's take an everyday example. Imagine you're in a team meeting. You share an idea you're proud of, something you've worked hard on, and a colleague dismisses it instantly, even ridicules it. You feel the sting of embarrassment, the flush of anger rising up your neck. Every cell in your body wants to snap back to prove them wrong. But instead, you take one deep breath, just one, in through your nose, out through your mouth. In that moment, your heart slows, your mind clears, and instead of reacting with anger, you respond with grace. Thank you for your feedback. Would love to hear more about your perspective. Just like that, you've transformed the energy in the room. You've led with wisdom, not ego. This one breath, this pause, becomes your superpower. You see, when we're emotionally charged, our brain operates from the amygdala, the fight or flight center. It's survival mode. That's why we lash out, shut down, or get defensive. But the moment we breathe consciously, we activate the prefrontal cortex, the rational part of the brain. Suddenly, we're not reacting from fear or anger, we're responding with thought and maturity. Gaur Gopal often says, if you can control your breath, you can control your life. And it's true. The breath is the bridge between your mind and your emotions. It's the invisible thread that ties your inner world to your outer actions. Let's take another example. Picture a parent who just got home after a long, exhausting day. The house is a mess, the kids are shouting, and one of them spills juice all over the floor. The parent is at the edge of snapping. But they stop. They close their eyes, take a deep breath, and count to 5. Suddenly, they see things differently. They see the laughter of their child, the innocence in the mistake, and instead of yelling, they kneel down, clean the mess, and turn it into a moment of connection. That breath saved the moment. That breath protected the relationship. So often, what we need is not more words, but more space between our words, more silence between our emotions, more breath between our impulses. When someone says something hurtful, before you reply, breathe. When life doesn't go your way, before you complain, breathe. That breath may seem small, even unnecessary, but in reality, it is everything. It gives you time to choose your tone. It gives you space to think. And most importantly, it gives you the power to stay in control of yourself. Words once spoken cannot be unsaid, but words delayed through breath can be transformed. And often, silence says more than speech ever could. So let breathing become your daily practice. Before that meeting, take a breath. Before that tough conversation, take a breath. Before hitting send on that angry text, pause and breathe. You'll be amazed how much peace and power you find in just a few seconds of stillness. Because those who master their breath, master their emotions. And those who master their emotions master their lives. It's one of those statements that sounds simple, but holds a deep, transformative truth. Hurt people hurt people. It means that those who inflict pain are often the ones who are silently bleeding inside. When someone lashes out at you, mocks you, ignores you, betrays you, or treats you unfairly, it's natural to take it personally. It's human to feel offended. But the moment we look beyond their behavior and try to understand the pain behind their action, something changes in us. Our heart softens. Our reaction transforms into reflection, and instead of returning pain with more pain, we begin to respond with compassion. Picture this. You walk into a bakery, smile at the cashier, and cheerfully say, "Good morning," but she just glares at you and grumbles, "What do you want?" For a second, your pride kicks in. How rude! Who does she think she is? But then you pause. You wonder, maybe she's going through something. Perhaps she woke up to bad news. Maybe she's struggling financially. Maybe her child is unwell, or she had a fight with someone she loves. You don't know her story, but suddenly your story doesn't have to be affected by hers. So you smile and say, "Rough morning," and you see her eyes soften. That one moment of understanding changed the energy completely. This is what happens when we realize that people often project what they're going through. Many times we walk around wearing invisible wounds. A child who grows up unloved may become a teenager who bullies others in school. A man who has been betrayed may find it hard to trust. A woman who was constantly criticized might speak harshly, not out of strength, but fear. What seems like arrogance, rudeness, or coldness is often a mask for someone who has been hurt deeply and doesn't know how to deal with it. There's a touching story about a man who always seemed bitter. He was the kind who never smiled, never spoke kindly, and always found something to complain about. People avoided him. One day, a new neighbor moved in, a woman full of positivity and warmth. Instead of reacting to his bitterness, she began greeting him every day with kindness. She would say, "Good